We start with Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order versus the Elite in a 10-man elimination tag match. Now, considering this match has the biggest names in the company working through the biggest storyline they have, if Hangman and the Dark Order win, they all get title shots. It makes sense that they start the show with it. And to the surprise of no one, it ends up being a darn good match.
Yeah.
Now, this is a long match. I don't know what the longest matches on Dynamite are, but this definitely felt like one of them. So we can't really go blow by blow here. So anything I don't mention, just assume that great wrestling occurred in those moments. We have Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows on one side, and on the other we have Hangman Adam Page, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, and the returning John Silver, who's in his first match since his shoulder injury, and his first match in front of a crowd in over a year. Needless to say that the crowd is completely behind this dude, and a good chunk of the match is making him look good as much as possible. He and Reynolds do that awesome combination that really should have a name by now.
Right.
I don't know if it does, but it's a forearm strike, enziguri, stunner, German suplex, jackknife pin. Awesome. I love
so
that.
good.
They do that to Carl Anderson, but it's not enough to put him away. Gallows tries to even the odds a bit and rushes the ring, but Reynolds knocks him over the ropes with ease, only for Anderson to come from behind and get the pin by pulling the trunks. So we've got our first elimination of the match, which is Alex Reynolds. What do you think about this opening bout with, I guess you'd call them the flunkies of both groups?
I thought it made sense. I mean, I like that they teased Omega sort of wanting to go against Hangman. But had him, who I can't remember. I think Anderson backed him down a little bit. I like that tease of, the big boys going at it. But I thought it made sense to just kind of build up. No offense to the two who started, but it made more sense to me. But I did like how they teased it.
Speaking of trunks pulling, if there's one thing you can say about this match, just one itty-bitty little complaint here. This is not a DQ match, but none of the rules are getting enforced, even a little bit. So once again, the AEW refs are completely ineffectual here.
Yeah. Was it Rick Knox? I think it might have been Rick Knox. But it's just the running joke with Rick Knox being just, especially in Bucks matches, just doing absolutely nothing. Continues.
Mm-hmm. And to move on with the match, Carl Anderson is not long for it, as Evil Uno and Stu Grayson land a fatality on him. Very cool move. Grayson and Uno continue on for a bit, and they get some nice tandem moves, which of course no one is really doing the 5 count for. However, this also leads to probably the worst spot of the match, which is when Stu Grayson lands a sky twister press from the apron to the ground ends up smashing his head on the floor because no one caught him. Now, he claims to be fine, but there was no way anyone knew it at the time, least of all Grayson, and he and Doc Gallows just keep brawling in the crowd, including another diving spot from Grayson. I don't think he hit his head on the second diving spot, but he definitely rolled on the ground, so his head came into contact at some point. So that was kind of rough to see, but thankfully he and Gallows were eliminated due to countout, which might have been the plan all along, or something they had to call in at the moment to get Grayson out of there as soon as possible. Either way, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, you don't want a 50% success rate when it comes to big dives. That's not a good record, I would say. So hopefully he's okay.
Well, after all that chaos, we have Uno and Omega as the only ones still standing, and they brawl it out for a bit while everyone else is recovering outside the ring. Evil Uno does his best, but when he goes for a senton, Omega gets the knees up, hits him with a few V-triggers as well as a one-winged angel, and yeah, that's more than enough to eliminate Uno from the match. So, that just leaves Hangman and John Silver against the Young Bucks and Omega. Not looking too good for the baby faces, but John is not deterred as he hits a big spear on Matt Jackson for a big pop from the crowd. It doesn't take long, though, for the Bucks to start getting the heat on Silver and all the goofiness that entails. Now, apparently this match is a promotional crossover with that Space Jam sequel, so all the heels are wearing basketball jerseys, and there's a hoop nearby, which, I don't know. I don't think HBO is getting the most out of the brand synergy here.
Can I say something about this?
Go ahead.
I loved it. I thought it was the perfect heel move, having the heels come. First of all, did we mention the beautiful promo? Not to go back to the beginning.
No,
but
we did
the beautiful
not.
promo
Please, go ahead.
for for Hangman and the Dark Order.
Oh,
It was
that's
great.
right.
It was all about
Yeah.
a cowboy doesn't need to wear a hat. A cowboy, it was like silly, but it was fun and it was nice, and it showed, the recent past of the Dark Order and Adam Page. And they come out, and the spotlights hit, and there's an empty spotlight for Brody Lee. I thought that was great.
Oh, I missed
And
that.
yeah,
Wow.
and the final spotlight on Hangman, and he comes out and he's wearing Dark Order colors, and it's just like, oh, this is so great, and it's such a great moment. And they hit the ring and they do a unified pose, and it's awesome. And then you have the Elite come out, and they do. And then y'all ready for this hits, and they start dribbling basketballs. And it's the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in wrestling. And they start shooting hoops outside of the ring, and then it comes on screen that it's a cross-promotional thing for Space Jam 2, and it was just the ultimate heel move, just having them, like, Kenny Omega really hammed it up and was like nodding at the crowd, like, of course you should love this. Like, this is so great to watch. You're watching us dribble basketballs. It was awesome. But yeah, anyway, sorry to go back there, but I thought that was amazing.
Oh, no, see, the match is even better than I remember.
Yeah.
But the big spot against John Silver is that they do an Indie Taker on him from underneath the hoop, and while Nick Jackson is doing his part of the Indie Taker, he tries to dunk a basketball, and he fails. It goes bing off in another direction, which only made it funnier.
Yeah, even better that he missed it, to be honest.
Eventually, the Bucks land BTE triggers on Silver, and he stays down for the pin, leaving Hangman to face Omega and the Bucks all by his lonesome. Two of whom he betrayed, one of whom he disappointed, and all are looking to destroy this man once and for all. What follows is a fantastic match in its own right, as Hangman manages to hang with all three of them, and everyone starts hitting their biggest moves. Especially Hangman, who gets a pop-up powerbomb on Kenny, and even lands a double buckshot lariat on the two Bucks. Kenny eventually gets tired of all this and tries to bash him over the head with one of the belts, but he is stopped and distracted by the ref, who takes it away. However, since he's the belt collector, he just gets another one while the ref's back is turned.
He's got the Bucks belts, too.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But in trying to get another one of the belts, the Hangman manages to land a Deadeye, and while he doesn't get the pin, it's getting really close. Hangman then goes for a buckshot lariat, but it's Omega's turn to duck, and he finally hits Hangman with the belt, only to get a 2 count as well. So we've got some really close 2 counts going on back and forth. The crowd is just going wild over it, but eventually Omega hits Hangman with a couple of V-triggers and the one-winged angel. Hangman stays down for the count, and the match is over, giving the Elite the win and preventing Hangman from going for the title. I'm a bit mixed about the ending, to be sure, as Hangman losing any momentum here is probably not a good thing, considering how much the crowd is behind him. But I like the idea of the Dark Order, in a sense, having failed him, and we'll get to see the fallout of that. That should really be interesting. Will he turn his back on them, or has he grown enough to not take their failure so personally as to blow up their relationships? It'll be an interesting few weeks to see what direction we're going in, and, I mean, that was a heck of a match to see. Though, perhaps I probably wouldn't have started with it, because it's kind of a downer, and the rest of the show is going to have to work hard to get out from underneath it. Not just the quality of the match, but the ending to it as well.
Yeah, 2 things. Great match. Very funny that Nick Gage main evented a Dynamite that had the entire Elite wrestling, but nevertheless, that's very funny to me. And then, secondly, the ending. Is the plan still for Hangman Kenny at All Out, or do you think they're going away from that?
Nah, it can't be. It might be another sign that we're getting one of the big guys, CM Punk or Bryan Danielson, to show up.
Right.
But, I mean, we don't have a lot of time to build up that feud if they want to have it at the pay-per-view, so I don't know what's going to happen next. We don't have time for anything.
Yeah.
If Kenny Omega is going to have a title match at this point.
Yeah, so it's strange. I don't get the ending. I don't get the booking. And like you said, starting the show with it is odd because it's kind of deflating. I was kind of worried that the rest of the show would be soured by it. I think the crowd did a good job of bouncing back into it. I think coming back after a year away helps. But yeah, I don't know. I will have to see what happens at All Out, because I'm kind of concerned. I'm kind of concerned that they've waited too long. Yeah.
It's a huge question mark right now, which could be a good thing. It's like one of those things where it's like, do you take the $10,000 check, or what's behind the mystery door.
Right.
And we're choosing the mystery door. Let's see if there's like a $20,000 check or a box with a fly in it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to see. Time will tell. But right now I'm a little concerned.